My brother asked me why I'm always breathing so heavy in my footage. It's because I'm always hiking my brains out. The heavier you breathe, the more oxygen you bring in, the quicker your muscles recover.
Solo Hunter is brought to you by Under Armour. Never detected, always lethal. And by G5, designed to hunt. Carbon Express, shoot better. G-Tac safety harness, experience the freedom to hunt. And by Prime, accuracy is everything.
It's gonna be a beast of a pack out of here. Build a fire, eat it, take it out of my stomach. Maybe at that threshold where it's like, I could be that guy that just goes crazy. I'm back.
Up here, boy. Welcome to the war door.
Oh, she's all loaded up. I bet you want to see them, don't you? Boom. Look at that guy.
Hungry, eat. Thirsty, drink. Cold, make a fire. You wonder why I'm crazy? That's why.
24 hours ago, I had just conquered something that I set out to accomplish for the last 10 years. I gotta say that I just got lucky. I got lucky and self-filmed a quality archery elk hunt from the ground. Spot and stock, run and gun, or whatever you want to call it. 24 hours ago, I finally made it happen. And a big Idaho bull elk is taking a ride in the back of the Solo Rado.
Whenever I'm planning a hunt in a different state or an area that I've never hunted before, the first thing that I always do is go to Google Earth or other sites like Hunting GPS Maps or some of those others where I can get a good layout of the topography and a good layout of the land. I want to be as far away from any population growth as I can. I want to be as far off-grid as possible. To narrow down the area where I want to go hunt, there's a lot of data and information that has been gathered by the wildlife management agencies that give me a better idea of what the elk numbers might be, what the mortality rate is, different predation like wolves, and just all the information that a person needs to have to be able to key in on the most productive areas of the state. In the game unit that I'm hunting in Idaho, the elk seem to be making a pretty good comeback.
And fortunately for me, I've hunted this part of Idaho before. This is not far from where I grew up, and I'm looking forward to hunting some of my old stalking grounds.
Well, just one small little raghorn bull this morning. He bugled off once, but gosh, just getting back into this little canyon, it brings back so many memories. This literally is the backyard for my brothers and I growing up, and this morning I wanted to hunt it just like we did as kids. The only difference is I actually have a pair of binoculars now and a spotting scope. You know, you got tools that can help you in the hunting. And I actually have hunting boots. You know, as a kid, you're wearing last year's basketball shoes. I do things a little bit differently now. I use my glass a little bit more than I use my feet, but that's kind of what I'm looking forward to for this week, is going to some of those old hides where we used to hunt as kids. You may or may not see a lot of animals, but you know, just going back to some of those places and hunting them, and I have a great chance of having some success. You know, this bull's probably very callable right now. This late in the season, it's the last week of archery season, last week of September, and the weather's cool. I mean, it's getting crisp out here. So, in fact, they're calling for some snow later on in the week. So. Just going to enjoy the week, try to find myself a good bull. Not going to be extremely picky here in Idaho. You know, I've got a lot of hunting left to do this season, and with only 5 or 6 days left in this archery season, I'm going to want to make something happen. We'll call it a morning. Yeah, put the camera away. The snow or the rain's starting to spin. Heck, it's cold enough, could turn to snow, but I doubt it. Not yet. Maybe tomorrow.
The official knives and game processing sets for Solo Hunter are from Outdoor Edge. Quality knives and tools for all your outdoor adventures. Protected by Venture Medical Kits and survive outdoors longer. expect the unexpected.
For all of our season updates or to share your photos and videos with the world, search us out at Solo Hunter TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Solo Hunter is brought to you by Caldwell Shooting Supplies. Versatility for every shooter, accuracy for every shot, only from Caldwell.
Kind of moved different spots. This is an area that's obviously a lot more timbered, you know, and it's a mountain peak, kind of a peak, that has some wallows situated almost all the way around it. If you go all the way around the mountain, you're looking at about a 3-4 mile hike. And so the plan is for me to get up on this ridge and just kind of work my way with the wind in my advantage, working around, doing some light calling, just see if I can locate some elk, and then make a plan, formulate it from there. But you know, basically spend the entire day working my way slowly around that peak and then back down to camp. So I love this kind of weather. Holy crap. It's been hot in Nevada. So I come to Idaho and get rain, cold, and snow. Just like I remember.
Rain, snow, and cold are pretty easy for me to cope with, and it makes a great combination to get the elk up off their feet and the bulls active. But if there's one thing that will keep them laid up for the day, it's the wind. As the winds pick up, my excitement for the day starts to dwindle. There's nothing like the cold blast of slush in the face to brighten your day. Rather than hunker down or wait it out, I'm gonna haul butt as fast as I can to get around to the backside of the mountain, where hopefully I can get out of this wind. I can only hope that the elk are thinking the exact same thing.
Snow finally let up a little bit. Got into the timber out of the wind. It's pretty quiet, but haven't heard anything or seen anything, so I'm gonna do a little bit of calling. See if anything pipes up. I mean, usually in this kind of weather, they like to find the dark timber and just settle, but it's the rut, you know, so we'll take it as a hot cow to kick it off. I'm impersonating that hot cow. I'm not the hot cow, but I'm impersonating the hot cow. I love this kind of weather. But the elk don't, I don't think. Could happen. Man, it makes for some killer footage. Have a big old bull march through in this, you know, low fog and the snow. Just the colors popping. That's what you'd really want as a producer and as a hunter. And heck, why not? But it's a tough hunt, tough country. A lot of hunting pressure, wolf pressure. And it's the last week of season, which typically isn't the best. These elk are going to call that 1,000 times. But I'm hunting. And I am having a good time, seriously. Let's see if I can seriously kill a bull.
Hunting in this kind of weather really is my favorite time to be out in the wild. Even though I haven't seen any elk, I have been witness to something better. Something greater than us all. I've experienced another one of God's creations. I've felt the power of His nature that at any moment can choose to take me from this earth or grant me the gift of yet another day.
Solo Magnified is brought to you by Vortex, the force of optics.
I am not a gizmos and gadget kind of a guy, and I definitely don't like gimmicks. So when I was first approached to try out this hunk of plastic called a phone scope, I was a skeptic. But then I put that little bugger on my spotting scope and was blown away. Not only could I use it as a viewfinder for my spotter, but I found it to be pretty dang handy to snap a few pics, shoot some footage, and take a real close look at an animal before taking off after it. Nothing since the invention of trail cameras has there ever been a hunting tool so valuable for helping me keep inventory of the critters I want to go after, or for logging a stash of high-quality photos and videos from thousands of yards away.
Solo Hunter is brought to you by Random Gear, makers of the Solo Hunter rifle cover, your gun's best protection against the elements. Phone Scope, digiscoping accessories for your smartphones, pads, GoPros, and DSLRs. The future of digiscoping is here.
Well, I was hiking up this ridge, seen a bunch of bulls just right on the ridge right over here. So the only thing I could do is quick grab the spotting scope and the phone scope, and got some just sick footage of them with the mountains way back in the background. Looks pretty sweet. So these phone scope deals, if you don't have one, you gotta get one. They're just so quick. And I had the spotting scope on my tripod packing up here, and so all I did was it just took a matter of seconds to slap that phone scope on there. But the wind's kind of blowing in a bad direction for me. I can hear them bugling back over there. So I'm gonna go across the top over here, see if I can cut them off. Maybe even call them in.
Bow hunting for elk in the timber is tough, but hunting them in this kind of open country is insane. There's a huge difference between seeing animals and killing them. My chances for getting into position were nil, but I thought for sure I would have at least had an opportunity to see them again on the backside. But on this morning, not to be so.
Just heard a horse of a bugle back off in this timber back here. So I'm gonna get over here and see if I can lay my eyes on it. But if I can lay my eyes on whatever bull that is in there, it's gotta be the big herd bull, because these bulls that were down here were just a bunch of bulls together. So I'm betting there's a horse down here with a bunch of cows. So get over there and see if I can get him found. I'm sitting here watching these elk. I don't know if the herd bull's out yet, but I've got the spotting scope and the phone scope hooked up, and those elk are beyond that timber over there. And here's what I'm getting.
These elk are nearly a mile away, so I've taken the time to slip around the backside of the mountain, and I'm now going to pop up and see if they're still grazing around where I last left them.
We bedded out of the wind right in some of the mahogany over here. The wind's blowing pretty strong, so I got a lot of cover noise, but it's gonna be tough to shoot in the wind, so I'm gonna skirt around the backside, come up down and come back down.
My past experience has told me that these elk are in this canyon for a reason. It's late in the season and they have been called to 100 times and pressured out of the area where they're typically found. Rather than blowing calls and running the risk of raising their alert levels, I'm gonna go Rambo. I'm gonna try to sneak my way down into the herd.
take advantage while it's snowing. Just show you why, why I packed the rifle cover. It's snowing here and it's cold enough that the snow's not really wet, so it kind of falls off. But you can see the inside of my gun, the scope, the action, everything is protected from the snow. Extremely water resistant, but it also helps when you're going through the brush and keeping any debris or anything out of your scope or into your action. If I need to get it off quick, it just pops off real quick. It's just an elastic, a series of elastic bands holding it. So it has two elastics on the bottom, one on each side, and then it has two elastics on the side, giving it a nice form fit around the rifle. Until it's time to pull the trigger, this rifle cover is on my rifle.
Solo Hunter is brought to you by Carbon Express Arrows. Shoot better, shoot Carbon Express. And by True Fire Releases. Don't settle for anything less.
I've just spent the last couple of hours sneaking into position to get a crack at this herd bull, and now it's down to sliding on my backside and keeping to the shadows as much as possible. The way I'm figuring it right now is that there are two major obstacles standing in my way. One is that there are several cows, calves, and younger bulls grazing around the bull, and two is that in the shadows it's getting cold. Through my years as a bow hunter, I've learned of all things patience, almost to a fault of laziness. I usually have no problem sitting back on my haunches and waiting things out. But in this case, I'm cold. And to top it all off, I've got to pee something fierce. Not a good combination to have at this point of my day.
I guess I just got a little impatient. I was just freezing, sitting there for hours. Slid into position and that stinking cow just bedded. I mean, right in the wrong spot looking. And every time she'd flail her head and scratch herself, I'd sneak up a little closer and finally got to where I was 45 yards. Got a good range on the bull. And he laid down again. And I had a good opening. And it just clipped this branch, obviously. So, bull jumped up and they took off like crazy. They're probably all the way up over the top. Gosh, you spend all that time, all those hours, sitting, freezing. You just started shaking so bad. Got to within killing distance, just like I had hoped. And then just didn't execute the right shot. You can always look back and say, wow, was I impatient? Should I have waited? But the winds are swirling. Should I have tried to get a little closer? Shoulda, woulda, coulda, woulda. Woulda, boogada. Got a shot at the herd bull. That's what I want. I could have killed that other raghorn easy at less than 30 yards. I mean, he fed right in front of me. And I could have killed him, but I wanted this herd bull. And he's not a giant, but I just had a good feeling that I could get in on him. And I did, just not good enough. So I don't know what I'll do. I'm gonna try to find this arrow, walk around, and then lay down in the sun, take a nap, warm up. I don't know. Gosh dang. Heck with it, I'm gonna go try to kill him. There's a bunch of bulls, just raghorns, and a small 5x5 and a small 6-point. My nose is chapped. Man, I just